What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. We got some big news here for you guys on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and I'll see how much I can get to for you guys here in this video. Multiple different things here for you guys. So let's jump right in. Thank you so much for liking these and sharing these videos. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. Here we go. Okay, first up, according to a new Fox News poll, 71% of people choose funding Social Security over Medicare budget cuts. Voters are clear, don't touch entitlement programs or raise my taxes. But the program's set to run out of money here in, I'll show you this here in just a second here. Social Security Trust Fund's depletion date moves 1 year earlier to 2034, the Treasury Department says. Get to that here in a second. So the problem is that if we don't do cuts to Social Security and we don't raise taxes, how do we fix Social Security? Or raise the retirement age, which is technically a cut. We have to do something, or else Social Security is going to run out of money at some point. Here's the latest poll here. I get that nobody wants to cut or raise taxes or do anything, but that's the problem, right? Here's the details on this. As Congress considers ways to avoid defaulting on the nation's debt, which is kind of tied to Social Security, even if they don't tie it to the debt ceiling, they're going to have to do it afterwards. Or if they keep kicking the can down the road, that's not good either. The latest Fox News survey, even if you're not a fan of Fox or CNN or whatever, it's just still getting data from the people, right? Finds most voters see the national debt situation as a major problem, which it is, if not a crisis, which it is. And while majorities also see the funding of Social Security as a problem or a crisis, they would rather continue funding entitlement programs than reduce the federal budget. While a large majority call the debt situation a major problem, 50%, if not a crisis, 28%, fewer feel that way than did a decade ago. 28% describing it as a crisis, down from 40% in 2013 when the last question was asked. The drop is driven more by Republicans. 39% call it a crisis, while 54% did in 2013 among Democrats. 17% say it's a crisis now versus 25% previously. Yeah. So you can see the chart here. And I get it because, Republicans are more about cutting and Democrats are typically more about spending. It's just kind of typically the way they are. Yeah. Overall, 2/3 describe the funding of Social Security as a crisis or a major problem. Yeah. The poll finds that 71% think it is more important to fund the entitlement programs at their current levels than reduce the deficit. I can understand that. I mean, Social Security is very important to people because it directly impacts their actual money that goes into their pocket, where the deficit does not per se. A lot of people see it as a fictitious number. Yeah, that's a major change from a decade ago when a slim majority, 54%, said continuing funding program was important and 40% preferred cutting the budget. Key groups across the board are all inclined to subsidize Social Security and Medicare than they were 10 years ago, including double-digit surges among Democrats, plus 12%, Republicans, plus 19%, and independents, plus 25%. On the big picture question on the role of government, about a quarter of voters, 25%, think the government provides about the right amount of services, but over a third, 36%, feel there are too few services, which would mean they think there should be more government spending. Up 13% since 2015, the last time this question was asked, even though government spending is at an all-time high. That shift is powered by plus 10% by Democrats and plus 12%, surprising, by Republicans and 20% by independents, believe it or not. Surprising there, actually. Alongside that, there's a decrease in saying Uncle Sam gives too many services, 37% versus 49% 2015. That includes a similar decrease among the partisans. When it comes to specific measures to help reduce the deficit, voters are clear: don't touch entitlement programs or raise my taxes. I get it, right? Nobody wants to see a cut in their money, or nobody wants to pay more taxes, right? I get it. That's just kind of the way it's always been, right? Nobody wants to pay for it, right? Social Security benefits for future retirees, 82% oppose increasing tax rates for all Americans, 80%, and raising the age for Medicare from 65 to 67, 66%. Probably the people that said yeah are the people that probably understand that something has to be done, right? On the other hand, majorities favor offering private retirement account options for younger Americans. 70% actually favor it. And increasing taxes on incomes over 400%, 68%. I'm surprised that's actually not higher, seeing as how I think it's only like a few percentage of people make that high. I'm surprised it's not higher than that. And businesses and corporations. Majority of Democrats and independents support all three proposals, while majorities of Republicans support private accounts and increasing taxes on the wealthy. This comes as the latest details here on the Social Security Trust Fund depletion date moves 1 year earlier to 2034. The Treasury Department says. Now, remember, there's kind of a couple different projections that we get here. This is the one from the Treasury Department. We also have the one from the CBO, which says that they project that Social Security will run out of money in 9 years, which is 2032. But here's this latest details here on this, saying here that the Social Security Trust Fund, that's about 67 million Americans that rely on benefits, are scheduled to be depleted in 2034, 1 year earlier than projected last year, according to the annual trustees report released by the Treasury Department on Friday. Unless Congress takes action at that time, 80% of scheduled benefits will be payable from the combined funds for old age and survivors insurance and disability, which means Social Security checks would be cut by 20%. 20% cut in Social Security benefits if Congress doesn't do anything. And at this point, Congress has done nothing. They've been kicking the can down the road for years. Republicans and Democrats can't agree to do anything. And the problem with this is, what are the current solutions? Raise taxes on the wealthy, which, nobody wants to do if they're wealthy. If they're not wealthy, people want to do it. You just read the kind of current poll in there. Nobody wants to raise taxes on them, but it's okay to raise taxes on other people. They have raised taxes on the wealthy previously for Medicare just a few years ago, and a lot of Republicans are weary against doing it again. Okay, so there's that proposal. There's also a proposal or an idea to raise Social Security taxes on everybody paying into Social Security, maybe by 1%. And maybe also raising it for the employers as well. So everybody pays a fair share, going it up a little bit here as well. There's also a proposal to raise Social Security age limit to age 70 here in the US. Remember here, just in France, they're literally gathering in the streets, and they're not happy about it at all. And all they did was went from age 62 to age 64. I did a previous video here on that. In fact, I'll link you to that video here, because remember, we're not the only country with our Social Security type system. Remember, they call it other things in other countries, but we call it Social Security. And pension type system, because it's basically kind of what Social Security is. You pay into it, and you expect to get your money back later, plus interest. Plus interest. Okay, a lot of people don't even realize that you could pay into Social Security for 30 or 40 years, but the money that you get back, you can recoup all your money back even just after like 4 or 5 years of Social Security, because the money that you were paying into Social Security was pennies and pennies from years and years ago. Think about how much you were paying into back in like the 80s or 70s or the 90s compared to today's dollars. It was pennies back then. So if you actually do the math, you can actually make all your money back in today's dollars from what you paid in as little as like we had somebody comment that they were going to get all their money back from Social Security in like 4 years, and anything past that was gravy. Okay, but again, you expect to get more money back. You expect to get the interest, right? You expect to get more money than you put in because that's kind of how it works, right? Okay, so but we're not the only country dealing with this. France is dealing with this. There's all sorts of countries around the world dealing with the same kind of issue because inflation, more people from the baby boomer generations are retiring, and it's just a tough system to keep going, right? You're paying interest for all these years, and a lot of countries are dealing with the same issue. France, people in France are kind of gathering in the streets because they're very upset. And I'll link you to that video here in a moment. So you can catch that. And all they did was raise their retirement age from 62 to 64. And this kind of gives us another idea of, remember, we already raised our retirement age once. So that's another thing we can do as well. The other thing we can do is cut benefits. And of course, nobody wants to do that. So what do you do? What do you do? Well, there's only so many solutions of what you can do. Cut benefits, raise taxes, raise the retirement age. And of course, if you ask somebody, they're like, oh, we don't want to do any of those things. Well, how do you fix Social Security? If you don't do anything, benefits are going to be cut. And if they don't do anything, this is what they've done for years and years and years. What did they do last year? Nothing. What did they do the year before? Nothing. What did they do the last 5 years? Nothing. What did they do the last 10 years? Nothing. They really haven't done anything to Social Security since the Ronald Reagan era when they raised the retirement age, which was technically a cut. Because now there's several years from what the rules were back then where you could actually retire earlier and get your benefits. So now you have to wait several more years, which means you have several years where you don't get the benefits, which is a cut. You have several years where you get nothing. Or if you retire early, if you retire at, say, 62, you get less money. So either way you look at it, it's a cut. So if they raise the retirement age again, it's a cut one way or another. But this is, again, you can't really blame this on Republicans or Democrats. It's just kind of the way the system is. It's just, it needs an overhaul. It needs a fix. It needs a change. And that is going to take the form of one way or another. If they don't do anything, it's going to be even worse. Meanwhile, new data in that the Medicare hospital insurance trust fund will be able to pay 100% of scheduled benefits only until 2031, 3 years later than projected last year, actually. So that's good, but 2031 is actually, only 8 years away. This kind of shows you how dire these situations are and how close. I mean, 8 years was not. I mean, that's just a hop, skip, and a jump away, right? So this shows you how kind of low on money these kind of funds are. I mean, they're going to have to adjust these things, right? I mean, when you're going to run out of money here for the whole country with these funds, it's not that far away. The new estimates prompted renewed calls for fixes to the programs, which Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen referred to as the bedrock programs that older Americans rely on for their retirement security. The Biden-Harris administration is committed to ensuring the long-term viability of these critical programs so retirees can receive the hard-earned benefits they owe, Yellen said in a statement. The White House earlier this month laid out a plan to extend the solvency of Medicare's Hospital Insurance Trust Fund, also known as Medicare Part A, which covers hospital, nursing facility, and hospice service for eligible beneficiaries. This proposal aims at extending the hospital insurance fund by 25 years, increasing the Medicare tax rate for incomes over $400,000, while closing loopholes that enable income for shielding the tax. See, so they can't really raise taxes on $400,000 and do that for Social Security. There's only so many taxes you can raise on people for over $400,000. And this is if they can even get Republicans to go along with it again. However, the White House has not put forth any specific proposal for resolving Social Security funding woes, though Biden has called for protecting and strengthening the program with his budget. But Republicans have been pretty harsh on him recently, saying, "Well, where's your plan? Where's your?" But on the other hand, Republicans haven't come out with a plan here recently either. So this is the problem here. Nobody wants to step forward and give a plan. And meanwhile, time keeps going on and on and on. And if they don't get it done this year, I fear that next year's an election year, and we're going to repeat this cycle over and over until it's too late. Some people say it's too late already because these funds are depleting money year by year by year. And the closer we get to these insolvency dates, it's too late. It's too late. Something should have been done 5 or 10 years ago or even more, because the closer and closer we get to insolvency, it's too late. They're already running out of money too much, and the closer they get, the more drastic the changes they need to make. Okay, so you guys can let me know your thoughts. I'll keep you up to date here on our YouTube channel with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below. Click the bell icon after you click the subscribe button. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new videos that come out here on our YouTube channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, thanks for liking and sharing these videos with anybody that needs to hear this information. Here's some videos you should watch next. Here's a video what the top ranking general in the United States just said. And here's a video what Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen just said about our current situation. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.